We're joined this morning by Cliff Abbott. He's been doing it all for quite some time, by the way, not just as a truck driver, is where he begins. He has been an owner-operator, a trainer, a safety manager, and for more than a dozen years, a correspondent for The Trucker. He is also a singer-songwriter with 6 albums of all original music and a great line that Dave deeply admires. Share the line again with us.
Oh, the line is from the song How Much Longer? There's no room at the table for the other side. And I thought that was a beautiful song, Cliff, and that line just stuck with me. I actually came out to the kitchen and told my wife was in the kitchen. I said, man, I just heard this line in this song that was great. But, Cliff has been with us on the program going back to Christmas time, 2023.
That is correct, by the way. Made a drop in, made a stop in. Hey, man. Hey, Cliff, what's going on?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. I have to disclose up front, I'm also a baseball fan and a fan of the Chicago Cubs, so that puts me in pretty rare company.
Yeah, by the way, it's like you guys, the suffering didn't end for you guys until 2016, by the way.
Yeah, and the euphoria didn't last long.
Well, that's the thing, though. I will tell you this, that it's taken Saints fans a long time to actually even remotely embrace being losers. It's a typical New Orleans thing. We win something, and by the way, we've won it. I mean, that's it. It's ours. It belongs to us. Like LSU fans were living on the fumes of the 1958 national championship until Nick Saban got there. You ought to come down to Louisiana. We don't consider ourselves losers, even though we do it all the time. So, that's really it kind of comes down. How you been, man?
I've been great. I've been doing very well. I've been I was listening a little bit earlier when Let's See 43 was on talking about getting in shape and so forth. I actually had surgery back in November. I've lost 115 pounds. I'm exercising more. I'm eating better, and I'm getting healthier. It's feeling pretty good.
Fantastic.
Let me ask you something. In regards to your dietary changes, I always ask this question because my father struggled with this until he finally figured it out. My brother continues to. I have to give up all this good stuff. And a friend of mine once told me, rather than giving up good stuff, go find other good stuff that is actually good for you and eat that. In your new adventure in health, have you discovered any food out there that really does it for you, where you're like, okay, I can't eat that stuff anymore, but I found avocados, something like that?
Yeah, avocados are nasty, but yeah, I eat a lot of protein. You got to kind of push the protein when you had the gastric bypass surgery, but for the most part, they leave you with a stomach pouch a little bit bigger than an egg, and so I can still eat some of the things I like. You just can't eat nearly as much. And a lot of it is just getting up off the chair, getting into motion, going for walks, and working in the yard, doing things that kind of burn some calories and firm you up some.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, too. Claire, my wife, is a gardener, and a very, very devoted one, although it's been harder since we've been doing apartment living out in California. People don't realize, Dave, you know this because you're an avid gardener, and so is Cheryl. That's really exercise, guys. Mm-hmm. A consistent dedication to genuine yard work. People don't realize up, down, all around, stretch, and all of that stuff. How many times have you cleaned out your gutters and the next day discovered you had muscles you never knew that were suddenly sore?
Yeah,
absolutely. Find them the next day.
Okay. Well, I want to kind of talk about this because we always ask these major questions. So I know you're looking at trucking conditions right now. You've been looking at them for quite some time, and I want to kind of begin from your perch as a guy who has actually been in every single position. Can you tell us what your conclusions are about why freight rates aren't going up, and kind of tie that into the trucking capacity issue?
Well, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of reasons, and of course, right now, tariffs and the economy in general are having an impact on it. But the biggest and most obvious factor to me goes right back to capacity, which you just, back in June, truck sales topped over 20,000 units. And it takes something along the lines of 15 to 16,000 new trucks just to replace the old trucks coming out of our national fleet every month. So we're still buying more trucks than we need to stay at the same level. And, of course, the more trucks you get, the more competition there is for loads and the lower the rates are held down. So the only good news was back in June, the orders went way down to about 9,000, 9,500, somewhere in that area. So in the future, we won't be getting as many new trucks. But right now, the bottom line is there's too many trucks on the road for the amount of freight that we have to haul, and it's just going to keep suppressing rates until something changes.
It's interesting. I read your article about used trucks and new truck sales, and I kind of did a little chart. And I went year over year as opposed to month over month, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. But Western Star up about 14. So this is over June of 2025 compared to June 2024. Western Star is up about 14%. International is up like 22%. Mac is up 14%. Everybody else is down. Peterbilt down 10, Kenworth down 5%, Freightliner down 2%. But are people doing everything they can to buy a truck now, the pre-tariff priced trucks, and they'll worry about what they're going to do with them tomorrow, but if they don't get them today, they ain't going to have them tomorrow?
I think that's a big part of it right now. They're even though interest rates are higher than they had been in the past, it's we've got the 50% tariff on steel and on aluminum, and as of August 1st, it's on copper as well. And those are three materials you can't build a truck without. There's some peripheral stuff going on with manufacturers that have plants in Canada and Mexico and so forth, and they're shifting production around and trying to do things to get away from the tariff. But until it all settles out, people are worried. And if you got a fairly large company and you know you're going to have to buy a couple of hundred trucks this year, it might be a better idea to get them now while you can.
Yeah, that's for sure. Chris Orban from Journey TMS is with us here in the studio. Jimmy found him on the porch this morning, and he wanted to say hello.
And so I think what's interesting is we talk about the very recent impacts on truck price, but truck prices have been going up for a long time. As technology's been added, as the fuel efficiency requirements have been added, the EPA requirements have been added. I know we'll talk about that in a minute. I think these things have always been pushing the cost of trucks up, and for a while there, it was okay. We could absorb it, especially during COVID, as rates were going up and things like that. Well, now we're kind of coming back into some other kind of world while we're not seeing a decrease in truck prices or equipment prices in general, and they're only going to go up from here with the tariffs and things like that, to both of your points. I think it's really interesting. Like, this is not just a recent thing. It's been happening, been a trend, and now it's really accelerating.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been concerned for a couple of years now about the EPA 2027 requirements coming in and the mandates for electric trucks and that sort of thing. So, the carriers already expected rates for trucks to go up $25,000, $30,000 per truck. Well, now we're getting into some regulatory changes where these environmental changes may not happen or probably won't happen, at least not to the extent that they're planned. But now we have tariffs, so it's like one major issue that makes people buy trucks early has been replaced by another one.
If the right hand don't get you, the left hand
Cliff,
will.
we got to tell
Absolutely.
you, we got to tell you goodbye. But you actually have literally done the best thing anybody in news can do.
know.
You have queued up our next guest, by the way, who's going to be Eric Sauer, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the California Trucking Association. So, my friend, promise me you'll come back for a long-form conversation in a couple of weeks, so we can have you on to kind of really unpack that. We want to talk about your songwriting stuff. We want to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Promise me when we reach out, you come on for a longer segment.
You got it. Absolutely. I want to shout out to Jamie Jones as well. I worked with her for years on the Shell Super Rigs competition, and she is such a sweetheart.
That's an interesting way of describing Jamie Jones, who we love, by the way. Is my favorite ink-stained wretch. Another ink-stained wretch, Cliff Abbott, has joined us. CliffAbbott.com, by the way. Go check him out over there. He can also be found over at The Trucker. Thank you, sir. Have the best of days.
Thanks, guys. Great day today. Bye-bye now.